Welcome to LSB Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
It's going to cost more to run the city of Chicago next year, more by some $57 million. Now, this is the estimate by Arthur Lindell, who submitted the proposed $675 million 1968 budget yesterday. The increase would provide for the hiring of 500 additional policemen, but would not necessitate any increase in property taxes, according to Lindell. Staunton Lind has filed suit in Sangamon County Circuit Court to get the job at Chicago State College, which was denied him because of his views on the Vietnamese conflict and his trip to North Vietnam. He contends that he had been guaranteed the position as history teacher by Chicago State President Milton Byrd. Illinois Revenue Director Theodore Jones is going to be putting in a lot of overtime. Jones, a Negro, was named by President Johnson yesterday to serve as staff director for the 11-man panel studying the disturbances in the nation's urban centers. An executive of the Playboy Clubs International, beaten and robbed of $80 early this morning. Police say 39-year-old Victor Lowndes of State Parkway attacked on North Wells by 4 persons who were caught minutes later by police. Next, CBS News.
This is Dallas Townsend, CBS News, New York. All federal troops assigned to Detroit because of last week's riots will be withdrawn from the city today. That's the announcement just made by Cyrus Vance, whom President Johnson assigned in Detroit as his personal representative. Vance says that law and order have been restored to Detroit. Large-scale racial rioting has subsided, but scattered outbreaks occurred during the night in several American cities. Snipers exchanged fire with police in Providence, Rhode Island, and Negro youths did some rock throwing in a predominantly Negro area of South Providence. At least 19 persons were injured, about 50 arrested. 100 Rhode Island State Police were sent into the area, and the National Guard was alerted but not used. Milwaukee had several hours of sniping and other violence, much of the sniping aimed at a police command post in the Negro district. Police Chief Harold Breyer now reports the city is under control after 3 nights of disorders, but the curfew will go back into effect at 7 p.m., and the state of emergency has not yet been lifted. Trouble occurred on the Chicago South Side. Several stores were hit by firebombs, but police eventually brought the situation under control. And there was trouble also in the largely Negro community of Wyandanch, Long Island, about 35 miles east of New York City. Rocks and firebombs were thrown there, and fire broke out in an elementary school, but it all ended before dawn. Back to the news after this message.
Hello?
Mrs. Giles?
Yes.
How are you, ma'am?
Well, I'm pretty good.
I'm from the Keebler Bakers, the people who make Streetman, Heckman, and Supreme brand cookies. Do you use our products?
Yes, I do.
Do you eat any of our cookies?
Oh, yes. Oh, I like the chocolate cookies.
The coconut chocolate drop cookies.
Oh, I love them.
Do you like coconut chocolate drop cookies being in a bag?
Yes, I just keep mine in the bags, and I put them in a jar I have, but I just put bag and all in.
Have you found that Keebler's is the closest to home-baked cookies you've ever tasted?
Well, yes, I like them a lot. I can go through a bag or more a week. Well, I like to pick up a couple of cookies and keep going on my way and eat them as I'm going.
Mrs. Giles, you're living proof of our feeling that store-bought cookies don't taste store-bought if they're Keebler cookies. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Bye.
About half an hour from now, the Senate Judiciary Committee opens hearings on the anti-riot bill, which would make it a federal crime to cross state lines with intent to incite riot. The measure has already been approved by the House, but is stirring up considerable opposition in the Senate. Many senators argue in brief it would be of doubtful value in preventing a riot, and Democrat Sam Ervin of North Carolina says it would be impossible to prove anyway what was in a man's mind as he crossed the state line. American authorities in Saigon today report the loss of 6 more American aircraft. They also report 3 accidental attacks on troops and civilians. One of these mistaken attacks was made by Army helicopters, another by Army artillery, the third by Air Force jet planes. Near Saigon, communist gunners attacked an American merchant ship in the channel leading to the South China Sea. No report about damage in either this incident or another one involving an attack on a second ship in the same area. CBS News White House correspondent Dan Rather reports that President Johnson may be in the process of deciding whether to make still another peace gesture to Hanoi. According to Rather, one source who should know thinks the odds are better than even that Mr. Johnson will attempt a reduction in bombing, if not an outright pause, near the date of the South Vietnamese presidential election in September. Presidential envoys Maxwell Taylor and Clark Clifford, visiting our allies in the Southeast Asia conflict, confer today in South Korea. And we'll get that story from John Stickler in Seoul.
The subject of discussion is the war in Vietnam and what can be done to improve the effectiveness of the joint military efforts there. Korea currently has some 46,000 troops stationed in Vietnam, and their combat record to date is most impressive. The Clifford-Taylor mission has denied that it will specifically request additional troops, but the Korean government is fully expecting such a request. The answer for the immediate future will be no, for several reasons. Foremost among these is the fact that South Korea is under increasingly heavy pressure from the communist North, both political and military, and cannot spare any more of its military forces, which guard this little republic from attack. John Stickler, Seoul.
Fire broke out today on a British freighter in the Atlantic about 500 miles west of Ireland. One crewman died, but the Royal Air Force now reports the fire apparently is under control. A spokesman for the owners says the dead crewman may have been stricken while fighting the blaze.
In hot, sticky weather, a simple talc or dusting powder just isn't enough. It can't give you deodorant protection. But now you can use Ammon's medicated powder, a body powder that provides deodorant action while it soothes and comforts your skin. Ammon's powder helps keep you fresh all over for hours. And no simple talc or dusting powder does that. Be comfortable and nice to be near. Use Ammon's medicated powder every day.
The Institute for Strategic Studies in London has taken a look across the Channel, and it now comes up with this report about French military plans. As early as next year, it says, France may begin deploying intermediate-range rockets based either on land or on submarines. This would be an independent French strategic force. The Institute, which is a private agency, says the effort has cost France $10 billion, and the driving force behind it, according to the Institute, is Charles de Gaulle. President de Gaulle is vacationing today 120 miles from Paris without further comment on the controversy over his repeated call for a free Quebec. Yesterday, the Canadian government again emphasized that any outside interference in Canadian affairs is unacceptable. A formal statement to that effect was issued after Prime Minister Pearson discussed the problem at some length with his cabinet. Whether de Gaulle plans a further response is not known. French newspapers, for the most part, remain highly critical of the president. One of them says General de Gaulle's foreign policy more and more compromises French prestige. Another calls him unbearable. Coincidentally, de Gaulle's support for the separatist movement in Canada has been followed now by a revolt in one small corner of Great Britain. The Isle of Man, located in the Irish Sea off northern England, is complaining about what it calls colonial oppression on the part of London. The issue centers on British legislation banning pirate radio stations just outside territorial waters. One of these stations is anchored just off the Isle of Man, and London makes it clear the bill applies to that one as well as all the others. The island's leaders say this violates the freedom of self-governing democracy, and next week their parliament will pass a resolution demanding that the UN intervene. Charles Collingwood in London notes there is a slight legal question because the Isle of Man enjoys a vague and largely formal status of semi-autonomy in certain fields.
People ask, what does a dull guy like me, Jackie Vernon, do for entertainment? I do fun things like go to the park and watch the swingers or race pigeons for the peanuts. But for most fun, I squeeze real lemon plastic squeeze lemons. From 10 paces, I can squirt that lemon juice on my favorite dish, Triple or King. Try it yourself. Real lemon reconstituted lemon juice in the handy plastic squeeze lemons. Not only are they fun for food, but you can squirt back at grapefruit.
A member of the French Parliament has returned to Paris after heading a parliamentary delegation to Cairo. This man quotes President Nasser as saying that a peaceful solution of the Arab-Israeli problem is possible based on settlement of the Arab refugee issue through creation of a sort of Palestine confederation with Israel. But no confirmation from President Nasser, and now new shooting reportedly has broken out between Israeli and Jordanian forces operating across the River Jordan.
Now the latest from WBBM's exclusive Radar Weather Command. Warm, humid, occasional periods of showers or thunder showers, a high in the mid-80s today. Partly cloudy with showers ending tonight. The current temperature downtown Chicago, 72 degrees. The next scheduled news, 9:58 on 78. Bulletins at any second on the station where you hear the news first. WBBM Radio.
WBBM. Chicago.
Welcome back, round 4 of two-way talk radio. This is Jerry Williams in the morning. We have 40 more minutes to go with your comments and views heard. Interesting from Time magazine. In their television section, subtitle, Oh Baby, it reads, and perhaps you'd be interested in hearing it, daytime television's big rage nowadays is the leering game show, the dating game, the newlywed game, the family game. All involve calling upon men and women contestants to answer intimate questions about each other. Now, these confrontations titillate the women folk at home, who presumably indicate their gratitude by rushing out to the supermarkets to buy countless boxes of soap and cans of hairspray. Last week, a Hollywood packaging agency announced that it was working up yet a new variation on the theme. It will be called The Newly Pregnant. Specifically, explained one of the producers, it's a group of 3 pregnant women who appear on stage while their husbands are kept in an isolation booth. The women are asked questions about raising children. Then they go into the booth and their husbands are asked the same questions. The couple whose answers most nearly match win complete free hospital and perhaps layettes and things like that. How do you like that? Years ago, you didn't think they could advertise bras and girdles or toilet tissue on TV, could you, huh? What's going to happen next? Birth control pills? Hi there, folks. Get your favorite birth control pills. Junior Miss. It's a possibility, huh? What do you think? Mohawk 48660 is our number. We're trying to keep it light and bright all morning today. One morning a week we try that, or one morning every 10 days or 2 weeks. This portion of the program brought to you by National Food Stores, where you get low prices, S&H green stamps, where prices are as low or lower than other food stores. You'll like shopping there. It's a kind of a place you'll like, I'm sure. All right, let's return to your calls and comments at Mohawk 48660 in the morning. Hello?
Hello, Jerry.
Yes?
Sure enjoy this fun morning.
It's the dating game. Can you tell me anything about your husband?
About my husband?
Yes.
Yeah, you know why he reminds me of a hard-boiled egg?
No, why does your husband remind you of a hard-boiled egg?
Because he's tough on the outside, yellow on the inside, and cracked on top.
Let me ask you this question about that little item I just communicated to you. Do you watch the dating game and the newlywed game?
Yes, I do.
You do. You like it?
I like the newlywed game, yes.
Why? What is that all about that attracts you to it? Just to give me an indication of,
you know what? It makes me laugh. I mean, you see these couples get on, and I have just a son that was, he's in the Navy, and he was just married out there, and they've been trying to get on. Somebody sent their name in, and you see these couples, and I mean, for the short time they're married, sometimes you see them go on there. They're so lovey-dovey. By the time they get off, they don't even speak to each other because, I mean, sometimes these things that come out, you know?
What could come between them? Stuff like money and prizes? Why? They wouldn't let things like that come between them?
No, it's just the comments, like when yesterday they were told to ask, he asked him, what would you want your wife to spend more time on? And he said she spends already 90 minutes getting ready or something, but the way he worded it was, she should take more time getting herself ready or something to make her,
she gave him a look, I'll bet you, huh?
Well, she was, when they asked after, well, how many push-ups can your husband do? She said 1, and he put down, I think, 100 or 50 or something like that, because it's just, I don't know, it's funny.
Just shows you how well they know each other when they get married.
Yeah, they don't.
You called about something. What was it?
Well, I was going to tell you a little joke I heard. I don't know if it's a joke, but it's just a little thing about 2 men were standing in front of a Catholic church on a Sunday morning and watching the people go in, and one says to the other one, I really don't know how they make all that money. He says, the other one says, well, don't stand here thinking. Why don't you go in and find out? So about half an hour later, the other man came out, and he says, oh, boy, what a wreck. He says, you know what they do? He says, a man stands up in the middle, and he hollers, I can play dominoes better than you can. And a man in the up in the balcony hollers, like heck you can. And he says, and then they have 4 men going down the aisles taking side bets. That's all.
For Roman Catholics who are very religious, forget it, all right? Thanks for calling in. 9:15 in the morning. Don't forget to shop National Food. Make the big change. Give it a try, will you? I don't want to, be in the business of trying to coax you. Just shop at National in your neighborhood once. That's all. First, to treat your eye to something exciting, come into the Dawn Dew Fresh Produce Department. Get yourself one of those delicious cantaloupes or cassava melons. They're wonderful red-ripe tomatoes. Do you know that those fellas go out into the fields and actually select the best? That's what National does. Then maneuver on back to the meat counter and take a look. It's the finest of the fine. Be it a round steak or choice sirloin or filet, spare ribs, name it. Colorado brand corn-fed beef, and that is the best. National again. S&H green stamps, of course. Double sweepstakes bingo, sure. $1,000 to $5,000 is what you might win. Plus S&H green stamps, and you can check in at your National Food Store or participating Standard Oil dealer for details. Void where prohibited by law. The aisles are wide, the stores are modern and up-to-date. You can get in and out quickly, and I know that a lot of women don't want to spend an hour and a half shopping. They want to do it in 15 to 20 minutes for the whole week, and it can be done at National Food Stores. Mention that Jerry Williams sent you, and Terry, that's my wife, all right? She shops there, too. This portion of the program brought to you by National as we continue with your calls and comments here in the morning. Hello?
Jerry?
Yes?
Oh, Jerry, I've got a little poem for you. I was hardly able to reach you. I was going to send it to you, but as long as I got you, I'll read it to you. It's really a song, but I can't sing it. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
It goes like this. Eve wasn't modest till she ate that apple. That old apple was to blame. The minute that she ate it, she felt humiliated and hid behind the apple tree till darkness came. If one little apple made the whole world modest, it ought to work now as well as then. Once they only wore a leaf. Clothes are getting just as brief. If every mother's daughter wears dresses any shorter, they'll have to pass the apples again.
That's cute. And now we can go out and get that little boy doll and not worry about it.
That's cute.
Okay?
All right, Jerry.
Thank you very much. 9:18 in the morning, warm, humid, and wet today. The highs are going to be in the upper 80s, partly cloudy with showers ending tonight, sunny, cooler, and less humid tomorrow. Hello?
Hello, dear.
Yes.
I called you once before. You're kind of hard to get, you know. I was trying to get you last night, but since this morning you said let's have a little fun, so I have a little funny joke for you. It's about concerning the wife and her husband, and he passed, and he left her a good bit of insurance.
Uh-huh.
So she was going to try to prove that she was such a good wife. She went to one of these seances and asked to be put in touch with her dead husband's spirit. And the lady, the seance medium, she got the tables going and the rocking and the shaking. Finally, she told us, says, okay, I've got in touch with your husband. Now go ahead and speak to him. So the wife says, hello, George. And he says, hello, baby. She says, are you happy? He said, yes, I'm happy. She said, are you happier than you was in life with me? He said, very much so. So she says, oh, that's wonderful. Heaven must be a wonderful place to be. And he says, I'm not in heaven.
That makes it even worse, doesn't it?
That makes it worse. But, Jerry, last night I was trying to get you, because may not be quite as fun. I was trying to get you because, but I'll say this, and I think you will understand what I was trying to get you about last night. That this may not be quite as funny. But where this situation was taking place last night,
yes,
there's two stores, you know. There's one on one corner and one on the other.
Uh-huh.
And it's a very nice store, cut rate liquor store on one corner, and this other big grocery store on the other. And I was thinking it was funny how when the family moved into a all-white neighborhood and they got out and put a sign on their lawn saying next house. And I was thinking it isn't funny if this other store would put a sign on his windows now saying store across the street. You understand me?
I get it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about a block from this, and we was like under house arrest around here last night. I'm one block from this 67 and
Well, let's hope it's going to keep cool. That's the main thing.
I hope it keeps cool. It was cool enough. All I wanted them to do was announce on some kind of a program or something, say he's been arrested, and that would cool things, because people out this way are very cool-headed.
Let's hope so.
So I hope it just remains.
Good luck. Thank you very much for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 9:20 in the morning. I'm doing Don Cannon Show all this week, the old America's largest town meeting of the air show at 8:15 nightly. Don is on vacation, so if you get a chance to tune in tonight, I'll be talking to a writer and a magazine publisher. Both deal in the area of sex, and both have been accused of being smut peddlers. So we'd like to hear your views on that tonight. Hello?
What?
Yes, Jerry Williams.
Hi. Do
Hi.
you remember when you had the director of the YMCA college on your program?
I sure do, sure.
And I phoned you, and you were very kind, and I told you we couldn't afford to send the boy away. And this fellow suggested the Chicago State Teachers College.
Right.
Well, you'll be happy to know yesterday we got a letter informing us that they were pleased to accept him.
Isn't that great?
Isn't that something?
See, so we changed your life.
So we'll have a teacher someday.
Well, that's great. That's just great. Even if he doesn't become a teacher, that's great background. And certainly nothing to be regretted if he or she doesn't go into teaching.
Well, he will. I really think so. He's done tutoring and just loved it. Free tutoring, and just loved it.
Well, that's great. That's very, very good.
Yeah, so if you've done nothing else, doesn't that make you feel good?
That makes me feel great. Really, it does. And I'm sure that the director of the YMCA Community College is just going to be elated when he hears about it.
Yeah, it was real nice to get that letter of acceptance. One thing, Jerry, you and I can go into business on a package deal.
How?
All right, we'll take a Barbie doll and this baby brother,
Yeah.
Add the pill, and let the children watch nothing happen.
Well, but there's going to be an awful lot of fun involved.
Yeah, but look, we can explain the facts of life to them at the age of 2.
Well, let me see. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. It'd probably sell like crazy.
Sure, why not? We can show them how,
We'll get irate people all over the country angry about us.
Yeah, sure, because population explosion.
Sure.
This is great, isn't it? I'll work it up for you.
Okay, send it to Birth Control, WBBM, Chicago. All right? Thanks very much. 9:23 in the morning. This is Jerry. Good morning.
Good morning, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
A sniper was trapped on the roof.
Oh, it's another one of those riot jokes, huh?
Yes, sir.
No, we were saying, for the benefit of those who don't tune in early in the morning, there were a lot of jokes about the Arab-Israeli war, but very few about our own problems like riots. And occasionally, Louis O. Schwartz phones in a couple of riot jokes.
You had somebody else this morning for
That's right. That wasn't bad either.
Not bad at all. Well, Jerry, it seems there was a sniper trapped on the roof of a 4-story building that was burning. The fire department responded to give aid. And when the sniper looked over the edge of the building, he sees 6 white firemen holding a net. They're extolling him to jump. He runs to the back of the building, and he sees another half a dozen firemen holding a net, 3 of which had white skin and 3 who had dark skin. So he figured his percentage chance of getting caught would be much better on that area. So he jumped. As he did, the 3 white firemen backed off the net, and as he reached the net, the other 3 swept it away from in front of him and cried, "Olé!"
That's cute.
Yeah, Jer, I got one more.
They weren't really dark, were they?
No, sir, I'm afraid not. Jer?
I'm here.
Did you know that management is now trying to see whether or not they can avoid giving Polish factory workers a coffee break?
How?
Because it takes too long to retrain them.
Ole!
Goodbye, Jerry.
Okay, bye. Mohawk for Ole. Here's your chance to be the guest of Diet Pepsi-Cola. At the most dangerous and exciting sport in the world, championship polo matches held every Sunday at beautiful Oak Brook Sports Corps in nearby Oak Brook, Illinois. Just pick up your free tickets wherever you buy Diet Pepsi-Cola and have a wonderful time as the guest of the soft drink for the girls, Girl Watches Watch. Diet Pepsi-Cola. It's the only Diet Cola with a famous cola taste and that famous cola name, Diet Pepsi. Want to participate? Dial us now at Mohawk 48660. It's one of those fun mornings. It doesn't have to be a joke. If you want to just get in on the conversation, make it light, bright, we're happy to have you aboard this morning. I want to talk about television, which I alluded to a little bit earlier, about the new game shows that are on. I am sorry, I've watched a couple of those game shows, and I sometimes have faith in our young people, and after I watch some of the newly married ones, I want to get out of this world. Hello?
Good morning, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to know what a baby inherits when he's born into this beautiful city of ours?
I don't know. What does a baby inherit when he's born into this beautiful city of ours?
Let me name a few of them, will you?
All right.
He inherits 35 miles of an air-conditioned shoreline. He inherits a park system that's equal to none. Parks, boulevards, and forest preserves. He inherits a health department and a police department and a fire department that's second to none. He inherits Democratic and Republican politicians that are bending over backwards to do what they can for this city and to do what they can for all the people. We got a school system that's second to none. We got everything that a child could want. He can grow up in this town and pick out his own career. He can go from kindergarten through to the finest universities. It's the center of the country. It's the garden spot of the world. And the people born here and moving into this town should be very thankful for the blessings that are showered on them. Now, I'm an old man now, but 47 years ago, I wrote a 16-line poem. I have an engraving of it in front of me now, and I wonder if you'd let me read it. It applies to Chicago now just as much as it did then, only I think more so.
Mayor Daley, I'd be happy to have you read it.
All right, it's called An Ode to Chicago. And here it is. It's only 16 lines. Beautiful lake, breeze-swept shore. Boulevards broad, parks by the score. Marvelous, busy inland port. A haven of rest, summer resort. Place to live and be content. The very heart of the continent. Place for business, place for health. Place for honor, place for wealth. No roads pass through, all terminate. Wonderful city, wonderful state. All nations here, by birth or descent. 3 million Americans, 100%. Its wheels of progress never stand still. Guided by leaders with motto, I will. Burned once to ashes, builded from flame. City of greatness, grandeur and fame. Now let's keep it cool. Let the people of this town, black, white, or yellow, I don't care what their nationality is. Let's keep it cool and try and live together in peace and harmony. We're living in the garden spot of the world. Let's keep it that way.
Here. Will you send me a copy of your poem?
I have a beautiful... Jerry, I have only one engraving left, but
I don't mean an engraving, just a copy. That's all.
I got some copies made, and if anyone wants a copy of it, I can get it. I can get them printed in color, in 5 different colors, suitable for framing. And if the people will write to WBBM and say they want a copy of it, I think it would cost me, I don't know, but I'll send them a copy suitable for framing for $1.
What we'll do is we'll forward any mail on to you. Well, hold on just a minute, please. 9:28 in the morning. This is Jerry Williams in the morning. Please don't solicit business, but if you'd like the copy of that poem, send it to Poem, WBBM Chicago. We'll send it on to that gentleman, all right? Let's see what we have to do here. Let's take a look at the weather. 9 a.m. temperature, 72 degrees throughout Chicago. 85% is the humidity. The winds are southwest at 10 miles per hour. Warm and humid with occasional periods of showers or thunder showers. The highs in the upper 80s. Partly cloudy with showers ending. The low 62 to 67 tonight. Sunny, cooler, and less humid tomorrow. The highs will be in the low 80s and a little cooler near the lake. The new WBBM and WBBM FM, the talk of Chicago. Jerry Williams in the morning. Back in a moment.
Marital and child guidance problems keeping you confused? Call Dr. Frida Kem for assistance and guidance. Call Dr. Kem weekdays at 11:30 on WBBM 780, the station that's got Chicago talking.
Turn it on. Turn on the faucet. Water from a faucet.
That's all you need, water from a faucet. Because now there's a real cold cream you can rinse off with just plain water. New Pac-1 Rinse Off Cold Cream. Cream it on, it cleans without drying because it is real cold cream. Now, rinse it off. New Pac-1 Rinse Off Cold Cream cleans cleaner because it rinses off.
Rinses off all the dirt, all the makeup, all the grime.
New Pac-1 Rinse Off Cold Cream actually cleans your skin cleaner because it rinses off. And when you feel your skin, you'll know it's moisturized.
Soft, smooth. It's a whole new way to clean your face.
New Pac-1 Rinse Off Cold Cream cleans cleaner because it rinses off.
Now at 9:30, let's continue with your calls and comments. Hello?
Hello, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
I talked to you last night on that teacher, Negro history.
Yes, I remember. Right, about 10:30.
And you said I should possibly call you in the morning. So I'm right about leaving for work, and I thought you'd be interested in a story.
Fine.
From my class. One of the children, it was pretty close to the end of the semester, she said, if the white people feel this way about the Negro people, why don't they all put on suntan lotion, go to the beach so they could look like me?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to
And
it.
it has a sort of a humor.
Of course it does. Naturally, people want to go down to Florida or the coast or Vegas. They lay out there in the sun. They get black as they possibly can, and then they come back and they make fun of Negroes. Well, thank you. I appreciate you calling in again, too. 9:31 in the morning on the new WBBM. When you come down the hallway, sir, please don't knock on those walls. I heard you all the way down the hall. Yes, it was. We have big, thick walls here, but if you knock on that wall outside coming down the hallway, or was that you tap dancing again? We're going to have a tap dance. Folks, this will be the first tap dance ever on radio. Would you give us a little tap dance? Very, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the stepbrothers, Lithuanian stepbrothers, by the way. That's what his name is, Lithuanian Step, and we're nice to have him here. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Williams.
Yes.
I'd like to say something about the woman who called about the doll.
The doll with the, yes, the baby doll, the boy doll.
Right,
Yes.
right. To me, she should look at this as an opportunity for her to show what kind of a parent she is. She doesn't have to go out and buy the doll like the other woman said. She can use this as an example to the child that not everything is good for that child. And she can say, no, this is something that you cannot have. And she can teach her child something out of this rather than try to take it off the market. I don't approve of it myself. Well, I don't know anything about it, except I don't believe it's called a baby doll, pornographic, whatever. And I don't approve of Barbie dolls and that sort of thing, but I would not have them taken off the market. I would tell my daughter or my son, whoever would play with it, no, this is one thing you cannot have. And to me, more parents should do this.
Well, I would agree in terms of trying to boycott or that boycott is different than censor, but in trying to tell other people what they should have. If somebody doesn't want anything, they merely have to turn around and not have it.
Right.
I'd be concerned about the intent of the manufacturer. Why the doll? What's the purpose for it? And if there's an innocent purpose behind it, then why get uptight about it?
Well, that's true. That's true. I don't know anything about it. I have never heard anything else about it, but I don't really think that there's a doll on the market that's going to be called baby doll pornographic. I can't see any manufacturer risking their company name.
Well, I would think that if it was a life-size woman, some men would buy it.
Well, let them buy it. I mean, that's their choice then. if they get their kicks that way.
That's right.
I would like to say something nice. This weekend, my husband and I worked in a booth at the DuPage County Fair, and the young teenagers there, and the 20-year-olds and that type people who played in the booth were the nicest people. There was not one bit of rowdiness going on that I could see. And I think that the teenagers ought to have a little bit of credit now and then. They were very good. We were impressed.
Good. Nice to have you say that, too. Thank you very much. Mohawk 48660. We just have about 15 more minutes before we wind up this round 4, and I'll be back again tonight at 8:15. This is like a big merry-go-round, and don't realize it until the merry-go-round is not during the day. It's at night when you go do the nighttime show, and then you go to sleep, and then you get up and do this one. That's where the merry-go-round is, and we're in the last throes of this. Hello?
Yes, would you just hold on the line for a minute? Yes, quiet those kids down in the background. Yes, I'm talking to a very important gentleman. Yes, hello?
Senator, yes, it's nice hearing from you, Senator.
Yes,
Will you quiet the children down, please?
Yes, Ethel, would you, one little, two little, three little Kennedys, would you, slow them down there in the background? Now, Jerry, to talk to you about the subject that I called you this morning.
What's that, Senator?
I don't like to, call you and wait for a half hour before I get on the radio.
I try not to do that, Senator, but after all, there are other people, your constituents, who want to talk.
Yes, but my dining finger gets awful black on the little hole. Now, tell me, you have a very light-hearted program this morning.
Yes, very light-hearted, Senator.
And everybody seems to be in a good nature and attitude. Tell me something.
What, sir?
Actually, I don't know what to say here this morning to you.
Well, would you prepare your lines better, Senator? At least
talking to you.
At least think about your material, okay?
My material is, unfortunately, my material just fell underneath the desk here this morning. It's trampled on it.
Well, Senator, I know your brother well. That is Ted in Massachusetts, and I want to say that he strangely sounds somewhat like you.
Well, Teddy and I, he does a tremendous imitation of me, and just as long as he stays on his border and doesn't cross into New York, he'll be in pretty good shape.
Well, my regards to all the children, 19 of them.
19?
No, well, whatever. What was it at last count?
Jerry, do you know something that I don't?
What? No, I don't know anything. I just felt that maybe there was something happening that I didn't know about.
I see. Tell me, there's a rumor that Bennett Cerf is over there in the studio. Could I talk to him?
Bennett Cerf? Yes, just a minute.
Bennett?
In all my white, John Charles Dewey. That's all I can say.
That's all you can say?
That's the only imitation I do with those words. Well, if you get me out of those words, I'm gone.
I have a friend here that would like to talk to you.
Who's that?
Talk to him?
Who?
One moment, I'll get him on the phone. I think you'll know him.
All right.
Good morning, Jerry.
Yes?
This is your one and only friend.
Oh, Jackie Mason.
That's right. It's
Hello,
a pleasure
Jack.
to talk to you this morning. It's
nice
also
to talk to you.
Have you talked to me?
I talk to you like this.
That's right.
So how you feeling?
Talk like you're asking a question when you're really trying to say something.
You're calling from Milwaukee?
That's right.
I can tell by the telephone.
Pardon?
I can tell by the telephone.
You can tell by the telephone?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I went to the Continental Bank.
You went to the Continental Bank?
Yeah, and I got the telephone from the Continental Bank.
Very good.
From the Pentagon.
From the Pentagon?
But the Pentagon from the Continental.
That sounds like a song. I think I'll write it.
Nobody knows what the heck we're talking about either.
I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. Better yet, I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you?
No, I don't. Neither does Howard Hughes.
Lots of luck.
Lots of luck to you. See you later. Mohawk 48660. Oh, what am I doing? Jackie Mason was on one morning here, and you know how Jackie Mason talks like this. Like this. Jackie Mason was talking like that, and then I went to do an imitation of him, and then this guy called up, and then three of us, nobody knew who he was. As a matter of fact, Jackie Mason says, maybe you ought to be doing the program, and I should be in Milwaukee. Funny. 23 minutes before 9, he does those two imitations, Senator Kennedy and Jackie Mason, and I do that one line on Bennett Cerf. Mohawk 48660. Hello.
Hello, Jerry.
Yes.
I have a joke for you. There was this man who went into a tavern, and he said, give me a drink quick. I hit a penguin. And
he hit a penguin?
Yeah. He said to the bartender, he said, how big are penguins? And the bartender said, about 2 feet. And he says, oh, my God, I hit a nun.
I don't know whether to laugh or not.
My brother, who is...
You know, you notice, how long you've been listening this morning?
Huh?
How long
a while.
Since when? Since when?
Since 6:30.
Isn't it strange that a lot of the jokes that people remember and keep in mind are ethnic, religious...
oh, I know some good ones. I don't think you'd put them on the air.
I wish you wouldn't, please. I got enough problems as it is.
Oh, Jerry, I called you about 4 months ago. I'm the mother of the 3 boys, and I was thinking pink.
Yes?
It didn't work.
It did not work.
No, I had 2 boys. So
2?
Now I have 5.
2 more?
Yeah.
Named?
Huh?
Named?
Timmy and Jimmy.
Timmy and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Well, gee whiz, can't you come up with some girls?
Jerry, I've been trying.
Is this the end of it?
I hope so for a while.
Abstinence?
No.
Pills?
No.
Well, rhythm?
Yeah.
You sure got rhythm, baby.
Yeah.
I know what they say about them Negroes. They sure got rhythm.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I appreciate it very much, and good luck with the 2 youngsters, too.
Okay, thanks.
Right,
dear.
bye. Mohawk 48660. It's 21 minutes before 10. She was thinking pink, but it didn't work. 2 kids. Well, in 60 seconds, we continue.
Harv?
Yeah?
Boy, this is really great. I mean, fishing to our heart's content with no phones around, no newspapers.
Yeah, boy, is right.
Arv?
Yeah?
I wonder what's happening with the Civic Center Picasso.
Who cares? I mean, do we care? We're here. The fish are practically jumping in the boat.
Yeah.
The Cubs and the Sox?
Huh?
That's what I wonder about. How the Cubs and Sox are doing.
Yeah. And what's happening with the stock market?
City Hall?
Reapportionment and open housing.
Red China and Twiggy.
Harv?
Yeah?
I missed my Tribune.
Yeah.
Don't you miss your Tribune this summer. Have it follow you wherever you go. Call 222-4100. Remember, fishing trips are so much nicer when the Tribune goes along. The Chicago Tribune.
It'll be wet, warm, and humid today, and the present temperature throughout Chicago, 72 degrees. Hello?
Hello, Jerry Williams?
Yes, right.
Well, I have something to say that might be amusing to some people. I'm from Sandwich, Illinois, and a group of us meet from all over the northern part of the state once a month for the purpose of promoting Governor George Wallace for president.
And where is Sandwich located in terms of Chicago?
Well, it's about 60 miles, a little bit southwest of Chicago, on US 34.
And
we're forming a new political party called the Patriotic Party,
Yes?
and we hope to be on the ballot in 1968 in the state of Illinois.
Well, I thought that the Patriotic Party's leader was jailed.
No, he's not in jail.
Mr. Depew.
Yes, Mr. Depew is the leader, but he's not in jail.
Mr. Depew, I understand, was caught with a cache of weapons that bordered on being an arsenal.
No, that wasn't the conviction at all.
No, but I'm not saying that was not the conviction, but that's what was found.
Well, I'm not sure about the details of what the charges were, but he is not in jail, and his case is up for appeal because the whole thing was fraudulent. The man who testified against him was finally admitted about a month ago that he was perjured, that he perjured himself, that he lied because of pressure put on him.
By whom?
By the FBI and the federal government.
So the FBI and the federal government are in a conspiracy against Mr. Depew, huh?
Well, of course, the federal government...
What were all these people doing in New Jersey trying to raid a private meeting?
Who?
Mr. Depew.
Well, they're having meetings all over the country in Mr. Depew's half. We raised some money here for his defense.
Well, what I'm saying is he was caught, and members of his party, anyway, were caught in a raid on an alleged subversive meeting.
Oh, that's not subversive. It isn't subversive to defend yourself against your enemies.
Who are the enemies?
The enemies are the same enemies. The enemies of Mr. Depew are the same enemies that are trying to subvert the United States into a one-world government.
Well, I wish you would tell me who they are so I would be aware of them.
Well, I can name some of them.
Sure.
Jacob Javits is the head of it in this country.
Jacob Javits?
Yes. He's head of a group called the United World Federalists. You had a man on your show when you were on night.
Yes, he was a priest.
No.
Yes, he was. He was a priest. His name is Father Grant. He's from Loyola.
Priest, that's just too bad because he said that he was head of the United World Federalists and that Jacob Javits was the beginning of it in Illinois.
Jacob Javits happens to be from New York.
I mean in the country. I didn't mean Illinois. And that Senator Clark from Pennsylvania.
What you want to do is get the
was the vice chairman.
Senator Clark.
Yes.
Another very dangerous character, right?
Well, you see, Mr. Williams, I don't call these people communists. I think they might be misguided. But anyone who is out to promote world government, which means the abolition of the sovereignty of the United States, anyone who promotes that cause is subversive to this country.
I see.
And to the original concept.
So what are you going to do about it?
Well, we hope to elect Governor Wallace president and Mr. William Penn Patrick of California vice president.
What are you doing about storing arms?
Well, I'm not storing any arms because I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I think that's all the armament we need.
Well, Mr. Depew evidently doesn't believe that at all. He believes he ought to get together an arsenal of machine guns, bombs, and any sort of missiles and hand grenades.
What do you think the civil rights workers did in Detroit and Newark and all these other places?
Well,
Do you think they just prayed?
Yeah, that's all illegal, of course, and those people go to jail.
I don't think they're jailing any of these civil rights workers.
Well, they arrested about 3,000 people in Newark just recently.
Well, that doesn't mean they're still in jail.
Well, they have to go to court, you know. They have to be judged by a jury of their peers. That's the system, isn't it?
Well, if they're judged by other civil rights workers, you know they'll get free.
Well, is the whole world in a conspiracy against you people?
The whole world is in a conspiracy. I mean, the leaders, not the people,
I
but
see.
the leaders.
President Johnson, too?
Yes, I believe he's part
I
of
see.
that.
How about President Kennedy?
Yes, I'm sure he was.
How about President Eisenhower?
Yes, I think he was, too.
And Mr. Eisenhower, Mr. Truman?
Anybody, as I said before, Mr. Williams, anyone who promotes world government, whether they know what they're doing or whether they don't know what they're doing, makes no difference. If they are promoting world government, they are part of an international conspiracy to destroy the United States of America as a sovereign nation.
I see. Well, that takes a great deal of very calculated thought on your part.
Well, I've done a lot of research on it. I've gone to the library.
What do you know besides what do you know about the United World Federalists besides that Jacob Javits and Senator Clark endorse it?
I know they're promoting world government.
Have you ever read any of their material?
Yes, I have.
Do you have any of their stationery?
No, I don't have their stationery.
Well, what you want to do is read some of their articles and get some of their stationery to find out whether or not there are people there that you would be surprised in terms of who they are. There are generals of the Army,
I don't care who
some of the
they
leading
are,
citizens of the United States,
Mr. Williams,
priests, ministers, clergymen.
I don't care who they are, if they are promoting world government, whether they are doing so knowingly or willingly,
I see.
or whether they are misguided people.
I see, but since you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, what does he have to say about this?
The Lord Jesus Christ believes in sovereign nations. He put it out very firmly in the book.
Oh, did he?
In the Holy Bible.
I see.
Everyone was supposed to stay in their own country and mind their own business.
I see. Where did he say that? I'd like to know where he said that.
He said it when he gave his laws to the children of Israel, when he apportioned the land to each of the 12 tribes and told them where they were to abide.
What biblical passage did he say? What's the biblical reference?
Well, if you hold the phone just a minute, I'll get my Bible. Just a second. I've got it in the Bible.
Right, fine. I'd be happy to wait. Ladies from Sandwich, Illinois, George Wallace is their candidate. The Patriotic Party, as you know, has been in all sorts of trouble, as a subversive organization themselves, keeping weapons. But when I say keeping weapons, I mean a mountain of weapons. Mr. Depew is the fellow who was caught.
You see, when the Lord gave the laws to the original people, the original 12 tribes of Israel,
yes,
he gave it to them directly. He didn't give it to them through a third person. Oh, let's see. Wouldn't you know, I'm going to have a hard time finding it.
Of what religious belief are you?
I'm just a Christian. I don't believe in denomination dogma because the ministers today are not preaching the Bible as it's written.
I see. What about Pope John? How do you feel about him?
Well, I don't think he's a Christian.
Pope Paul?
No, I don't think any Catholic is a Christian.
I see.
For the simple reason, if they put the importance of the Pope above the Bible, the Holy Word of God, which the Catholics aren't supposed to read.
How do you feel about Catholics generally?
I've read their Bible and I've taken the instructions. I wanted to know what it was all about.
Do you think the church is in a conspiracy of some kind with all those world government people?
No, I don't think so. I think they're perhaps misguided. But
an awful lot of misguided people around, aren't there?
Certainly. The Bible says that most of the world is misguided.
What about the Jews? How do they fit into this picture?
If they don't accept the Lord Jesus Christ, why, then of course they're not going to inherit the kingdom of God. The Bible says that either you're for me or against me. They don't believe in any.
And Negroes. How about Negroes?
Well, Negroes can become Christians. Jews can become Christians.
What about
anybody can become a Christian.
What about the Negro Christians? Most Negroes, of course, in this country are Christians, are Bible-believing and preaching Christians.
Well, they'll inherit the kingdom of God.
Well, how come your candidate is George Wallace, then?
Well, Mr. Wallace doesn't dislike Negroes.
Well, he believes in segregation.
Well, that's in the Bible.
Oh, is it? Would you tell me where?
Oh, I can find that quite readily because I use that often.
I'm sure you do.
You see, That all goes back to the division of the tribes when they were told to stay in their own country and not to marry outside of their tribe.
Yes.
Just a minute here. You see, the reason for segregation is to keep tribes from marrying each other because familiarity breeds eventually marriage.
I see. So, in effect, you're saying the Bible preaches segregation in the tribes, whatever they happen to be. Black should stay with themselves, and the whites should stay with themselves, even though they're both Christians.
That's right.
That's very interesting, an interesting interpretation of the Bible.
But when they go to heaven, they'll all be in one community.
But not on this earth, right?
That's right.
Right. Well, that seems like a most universal concept. Will you hold on just a minute, please? We'd like to find out where you are so that people would like to write to you and join the Patriotic Party or the George Wallace campaign. They would know where. Thank you very much. It's 10 minutes before 10. How do you like them apples?
There's a saying in Ireland, there are no strangers, only friends you haven't met. Now, what's been keeping you? This is Anne Tolan for Irish International Airlines Aer Lingus. This fall, when the Irish sun still shines with a summer glow, you can spend 2 whole weeks in this warm and friendly land for as little as $357. Just think, round-trip economy jet fare, finest hotel accommodations with private bath, sightseeing in Dublin, a hearty Irish breakfast each morning, even an authentic medieval banquet in the Shannon Castle country, all included. $357 under our new group tour plan. It's all so easily arranged. Call your travel agent or Irish International, 236-7803. Please don't delay. Time flies so beautifully when you fly Irish.
Well, it's nice to conclude with that pleasant note. That is the pleasant note from Irish Airlines, not the pleasant note from the lady in Sandwich, Illinois. Way! So, see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. and tonight again at 8:15. That's just in about 10 and a half hours. On the Don Cannon Show, Don's away on vacation. I'll be doing his program for him. Some interesting people on tonight. So we hope we'll see you then at 8:15 tonight, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning on Two-Way Talk Radio. This is Jerry Williams in the morning. On this warm, humid, wet, and warm day, we'll conclude with this bit of theme and return again. Next is Dear Abby, then Arthur Godfrey, then Art Linkletter, then Dr. Kim, Al Belair's, Tom Clark. Hope you'll stay right where you are at 780 on your radio, The Talk of Chicago. Good luck, good morning, good health, good morning to you.
Dear Abby, my daughter is going to some quack doctor for her nerves. How can I save her?
This is Dear Abby, and the question of a quack is not easy to duck.
Oh, Abby.
So stay with me while I try to help this woman.
Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew your little troubles away. Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew Wrigley's spearmint gum. Work goes faster, smoother too. Life seems brighter when you chew. Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew Wrigley's spearmint gum. Get some soon.
Abby, our first letter comes from a listener in Lake City, Florida. Dear Abby, my daughter came crying to me that her husband mistreated her, so I did what any other mother would do. I told her to leave him.
Well, what else?
She left him, and then she had a nervous breakdown. And then I was blamed and told I shouldn't have interfered in my daughter's marriage. She now goes to a doctor and pays him $25 an hour. They sit around and talk about sex for an hour and close with a prayer. I wonder what they're praying for. I asked her if he was a medical doctor, and she said, I don't know, and I don't care if he never got past the 5th grade. He's wonderful, and he's helping me. Is there anything I can do to save my daughter from this quack? Signed, Upset.
Dear Upset, if your daughter doesn't care about her doctor's credentials, there's nothing you can do to save her. But you must remember that your daughter has been ill, and the chances are she is not yet fully recovered. So don't undermine her confidence in her therapist. Unless you check him thoroughly and find that he is indeed a quack, he could be a very fine doctor.
Abby, a man who listens to us over station WWPA in Williamsport, writes, Dear Abby, I'd been dating a widow with 2 teenage children. She invited me in after a movie one evening, and Abby, I have never seen an apartment in such disorder. Newspapers and magazines were strewn all over the floor. Wastebaskets were filled to overflowing. There were dirty dishes in the sink. And to top it off, I noticed a stack of unopened bills on her desk.
I think I know the woman.
Now, I'm not a nut on housekeeping, but I like things reasonably neat. I think a lot of this woman, but now I'm wondering what life would be like if I married her. She didn't even seem embarrassed. Signed, Bachelor.
Dear Bachelor, now that you've had a preview of her ability or her inability to run a home, weigh it against her other qualifications. Many good women who rate high in moral integrity, intelligence, and loving kindness are rather poor housekeepers. Give her credit for letting you see her in her typical surroundings. You know, some women sweep the dirt under the carpet for guests.
Maybe the carpets were full.
But don't hesitate to call it off if this kind of disorder makes your blood pressure rise.
Now, here's a confidential from dear Abby to a young lady in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Dear 22 and never been dated, declare your independence, dear, and tell your mother that you don't believe all men are rotten. Take the opportunity to meet a few. Bring them home and try to change your mother's mind. And if that fails, change your address.
Abby will be back in just a moment.
Look, Susan, all the jars of Instant Maxwell House coffee have funny little numbers on them.
Sure. Those are Treasure Island numbers. Could win us a trip to Hawaii, Bermuda, Capri, or Jamaica, plus up to $50,000 in cash.
We never win anything.
Well, more than 10,000 of those funny little numbers on Instant Maxwell House jars are possible prize winners.
10,000, huh? Well, in that case, I kind of like this one. 56225.
And here we are in Jamaica.
All because of a funny little number.
Over 10,000 of those funny little numbers on Instant Maxwell House jars could win you a prize, too. They range from $50 to a first prize of $50,000, plus trips to exotic treasure islands. You find out if you've won by sending in the Instant Maxwell House label with the number on it, or any number of your own choice written on a plain piece of paper. Full details at your store now. Void where prohibited by law, no purchase required.
What's for tomorrow, Abby?
A wife wants to know why the woman who works for her husband drives his car all over town while she has to take the bus.
Fair question. Until tomorrow on the CBS Radio Network, this is Harry Bartell saying, listen to Dear Abby.
United Charities of Chicago is 3 agencies in one. The Family Service Bureau offers professional counseling to families and individuals overwhelmed by personal problems they cannot handle alone. The Legal Aid Bureau represents the poor in civil matters. Camp Algonquin makes summer vacations possible for disadvantaged mothers, children, and senior citizens. United Charities headquarters are in downtown Chicago, but Family Service has 7 neighborhood offices, and Legal Aid has 8, plus a juvenile court branch. Camp Algonquin is near Gary, Illinois. Because Family Service and Camp are free to those unable to pay, and Legal Aid serves only persons unable to pay, United Charities depends upon community support. Give generously to United Charities. Send your contribution to 123 West Madison Street, Chicago. That's United Charities, 123 West Madison Street, Chicago, Illinois. 780 on your radio, WBBM and WBBM FM, the talk of Chicago. This is Dale McCarran with local and regional stories at 9:58 here on 78 from WBBM Radio News. Police Superintendent James Conlisk is to name his new assistant at a news conference this morning. Conlisk officially took over as head of the Chicago Police Department yesterday, succeeding the retired O.W. Wilson. Labor news, pickets have appeared at the Gary plant of U.S. Steel this morning in what both union and company officials term an unauthorized strike. Neither union nor company spokesman have said why the strike was called, but company officials say some workers have entered the plant. Another strike today at Columbus has idled about 100 workers in the Vernco Corporation plant. The walkout began at midnight last night after expiration. Welch was alone when his car slammed into a utility pole. The Cook County holiday traffic death toll stands now at 11, including 7 in Chicago, 4 elsewhere in the county. The most hazardous hours are ahead, usually during late afternoon and evening. The Illinois highway fatality figure stands